How are you?
Good morning, good morning. I hope everybody is good on this rainy Tuesday. I can't believe it. After
horrible,
the wonderful sunshine that we had for the past 2 weeks, it's now back to normal April weather, which is the April showers. It's raining.
It's pouring.
The old man is snoring.
And
he
I
went
don't
to
know
bed,
the
he bumped his head and couldn't get up in the morning. Gosh, it's
like
amazing how you remember. Yes. Well, good morning to Wolf Michael Fister. Do you know what? I can't remember if I said good morning to you yesterday morning. So good morning twice to you, sir. And JR, good morning to you. Saying South Oxney is known racist area back in the day. They've gone too far now. Kiss my teeth. I know that you were talking about people raiding Muslim graves.
Yeah, 100 graves, apparently. In Brent Council, responsible for this cemetery, and they desecrated around about 100 graves, including women, children, and babies. Well, yeah. Yes.
Wow. Well, I'll come back onto that story in 1 second. Let me just say good morning to everyone on your Mixcloud, Sharky DJ Delight, Susie Cruz, Cheryl A, Susan Simpson, Shaneri, good morning, my lovely. Did I say Cheryl A? Shandell, Laurie. Gosh, who else? Did I miss anybody else? I should do this roll call better than this. Spice, nice. Good morning, my lovely. And anybody else? Kelsa P. Anybody else? Jack's happy. Maxine Green. Oh my gosh, we've got a few names here that I haven't heard in ages. Colonel. John J.E., our sponsor. Good morning to you, sir. We are not wearing it today, though, are we? Naughty.
No, we just got the cups.
And First Lady, good morning to everybody. Sorry if I've missed anybody off. Let me just turn the volume down on there. Well, Tuesday morning, the 15th, woken up to over 100 graves being desecrated by unknown felons at the moment. What would be the purpose of doing that? Can't work out if it's adults or children's or racists yet. Nothing is known. That's one thing that's not around graves is CCTV. Maybe that's what's needed. They might catch a couple of people doing all sorts of unscrupulous activities in graveyards. Known fact.
There's a comment in on your platform there. JR says South Oxhay is a known racist area. Back in the day, they've gone too far now.
Yes, I just read that out just after I said hello.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry, I didn't.
That's okay, because I talk too fast sometimes. That's what it is. Talk too much and too fast. Yes, there's known racist areas, but I didn't think that people would go that far as to dig up a grave. I mean, what would that do exactly? I mean, I know that Muslims place great emphasis on burials and dressing the deceased and the way in which they're buried. So it's a bit more. It's a bit more to them than it is to anybody. Well, I wouldn't say it's a bit more to anybody else. I wouldn't say that. Death is just as bad for everybody as it is for one kind of genre. So I'm not going to place that on Muslims. But I don't understand why they would do that to Muslim graves. Desecrate the graves, dig up the bodies. Why would you do that? What would you be achieving? That's the word I was looking for. What is the message that you're sending? Was there a message that was being sent in regards to them doing this? Or did they just decide that they're all there? Or
no idea whatsoever. None.
Okay, I'm going to have to dig up a bit on that news. I haven't watched that piece of news yet, so I'll go and find that out. But it's good morning, Miss Sugar Sweet. And it's funny that you were talking about lyrics on a track. That track you were just playing. What was the track called, Sharky?
What's the point?
What's the point? Rusty. And what's so bad about the lyrics in that track?
It's not bad. It's just a sexy track, talking about what you do and stuff like that. Relationship. It's a fun. I mean, you really have to listen to the lyrics and.
Yeah. Well, I was watching, as usual, I watched TikTok, no video today. And, sometimes they make you listen to a song to see what it said. There was one time I got it completely wrong where I said Michael Jackson was actually saying this when he wasn't. Yeah. Mama say, Mama Makusa, something like that. Yeah. So I come across another one that they were talking about. And the lyrics of the song, which you either pay attention to or you don't, or you just sing it and don't really think about the meaning. Now, I think it's Next. Is it too close, real close? When you're getting real close. Yeah. Have you got that track?
I do.
Can you do me a favour? Before we kind of move on with everything, I want you to play a track. And I want everyone to actually pay attention to the lyrics and what it says.
Which one was it? Which track?
Is it called Too Close?
Oh, Too Close, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's that one.
Yeah.
You're making it hard for me.
Let's
That.
play it. Should I play it now?
Yes, please play it now. And good morning, Kimmy Kim. Listen to the lyrics. In fact, rewind it because just with that first line, listen carefully, people. Listen to the lyrics of this track, and I will be back. The first line, even.
All right, here we go. Listen up.
You're making it hard for me. Do you know, I'll tell you what, sorry, Kimmy Kim says, HPQ, you are decades late. It's not the fact that I'm decades late. You sing the song and you don't really think about the lyrics. I'm singing, you're making it hard for me. And I actually listened, in fact, I downloaded the lyrics. I looked at the lyrics, right, and I thought, hang on a minute. What's this song all about, really? Even the first part of the song, I wonder if she can tell I'm hard right now.
You know what? I have to admit, I didn't actually really listen to it. You just play it, but then, you know, I didn't know. I knew that it was a dirty song, but I didn't know about that bit.
Yeah, just that. Just, I feel a little poke coming through.
Yeah. We knew that, but it's like some of these songs you just sing them, right? You sing them, but you don't really think about the lyrics. You just sing them, don't you?
Do you know, I never even sang that bit. I don't know what I sang, but I don't remember singing I feel a little poke coming through. Coming through. You sing the last bits and you forget the first bit. So I never realised it says I feel a poke coming through. So, all this time, I'm singing this song and I never knew it was about this young man.
You tell her, Kimmy Kim. You tell her.
I'm so late. Anybody else late? Am I the only one? Am I the only one that's late? I can't believe I'm the only one. Somebody else tell me. Somebody else tell me, please. Please, dear. I'm not the only one. First lady says, step back. You're dancing kind of close. I feel a little bump coming through. It's a poke. It was a poke.
Step back. I feel a little poke
coming through for you.
It's Spice Nice says I'm late. She's late as well. There's quite a few people.
Thanks, Spice Nice. She says I'm going to stop dancing to this tune. I'm telling you, I could not believe it.
Why?
Laurie says HPQ, I'm with you. Laurie hasn't as well. D Brown says I'm very late. Chandel's late. Cheryl A's. Thank you. I'm not the only one.
Do you know what? Actually, to be honest with you, I actually thought most people would know that, but it's amazing how many people don't know that. Good morning, Rowley Men's. It says easy. Sharky, mind your back. Good morning, Black Pearl. Yeah, yes. There's a lot of people. It looks like a lot of people are late with this. Who else is late? What a thing.
Susie Cruz says, I thought she said I feel a little pull coming. Same here, Susie Cruz. I feel a little pull coming through. That sounds sensible.
Maxine Green. Good morning, Maxine. How you doing? She says, I'm late. I didn't know that either. Wow, you see what you've you see all that can of worms, yeah? Pulling apart songs. Maybe we should have one of those days, mornings. Every morning we pull
find
apart
the naughty songs
and find a song and see what it's really all about.
Listen, I know some really naughty songs that have got the F words in it and that have made the charts, and it's like going back in the 60s. It's unbelievable what's out there, what we actually listen to. But no, I didn't know any of that. You're making it hard for me. It hasn't come out of my mind since yesterday. I've been humming that tune non-stop, just that line, because I just didn't know. All the time I sang it, I didn't know. I feel really, really, really stupid. You know what I mean? I know music, but I just didn't know. Well, it's not just
you by the looks of it. It's lots of it. I mean, Colonel knew from the start. I mean, he was like dotted lyrics, you know.
And Kimmy Kim said that poor woman gave him proper good rubs till him. Oh, you'll be an X-rated this morning till we let off.
First lady said, where you guys been? You must have been... What she says, where you guys been? You must know what you're dancing to.
No, I could crop up to something nasty and wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Oh my God, unless it's R. Kelly, you know? I don't know.
Kimmy says, that woman proper gave him a good rubs till him let off juice. But you know what? I'm sure that's happened to many in the past. They won't admit it. Oh dear.
No. Who's ever been a victim of that? Any lady been a victim of that? You know, you gave someone too much of a good crumb. Too much. Who's got that superpower? You know? Who can attest to having that superpower?
Oh dear. You know what? Let me play a tune. So, I want to know who has given somebody a boss rub, you know? I know, boss.
Absolutely. I think most women will attest to that. You know when you're doing, you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing, exactly what movements are doing. And somebody said, no, was it Susan Simpson said, nah, they ain't paying my dry cleaning bill. You can separate afterwards.
Listen,
excuse me, thank you, bye.
Listen, before you go any further, right, us guys, right, we have witnessed women like shaking like mad, like it's an earthquake when we have given that kind of dance. And them are... Right?
Oh.
Isn't that right, Colonel?
I don't know about that. No one's. I've never had an earthquake rub before, so anybody had an earthquake rub before? Oh my God, my lighting is really bad this morning. Anybody had an No, definitely not myself. Definitely not myself. That we are on all sorts of things this morning. But anyway, one of the things we wanted to talk about this morning was the competition question, right? Been going on and on and on about this, and we haven't posted it yet. And I think I'm going to have to post them into each of the groups. I should be really doing it at the same time. But obviously, we've got 2 event passes to give away for Carry On Comedy, which is in a couple of weeks' time. All you've got to do is book your flight and your hotel. There's availability still, and come along and enjoy the fun. They are worth £500. So they are good prizes to actually win. We're not going to make it too difficult for you, not too hard either, but just want to know what year, right, was the first Carry On Comedy held, and where was it? Quite simple, right? Well, the answers into the WhatsApp chat group, please, if you're not a member. Please join. And the first correct answers into the chat group wins the tickets. So good luck, guys.
There you go.
Good luck.
Simple. There you go. 2 tickets, 2 wristbands for Carry On Comedy coming up in roughly around about 2-3 weeks' time. So yeah, all you have to do is just book your flight and your hotel and just come and enjoy. So you can go for the cheapest option that you want. I think we'll get you in contact with the organisers once you've won the tickets, and you talk to them and sort it out with them.
Absolutely. So good luck, guys. I hope you guys will join the competition. Don't forget to... We've
already had, not on this platform, but 2 winners, which are Verona and Donald won a pair of wristbands, and they are on their way in Carry On Comedy as well. So yeah, big up Verona and Donald, who won 2 wristbands to Carry On Comedy. We've got 2 more to give away. So yeah, there you go. The competition. So
it's officially open.
It's open. Okay. Do you want to repeat that again?
Yeah, so I'm going to repeat it one more time for the people that have put answers in already. There's 2 parts to the question, okay? All right. What year was the first Carry On Comedy held, and where? 2 parts to it. So let's see if you guys have come in. I've seen some coming to, and in the chat room only, not in Mixcloud. If you are not part of the WhatsApp group, the link is there. Please join. Answers in there only. The first correct answers, not 1, 2 parts of the answers. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
HPQ on GY Radio.
I am indeed on GY Radio. We've been talking about all sorts of things this morning. Next, very raunchy lyrics. I'm telling you. And obviously we've got the competition here in terms of what year was the first Carry On Comedy held, and where. Answers into the WhatsApp group. If you're not part of the group, please join. And the first correct answers will win the pair of event passes worth £500. So it's a great competition. Not too difficult, I would say. So good luck to everybody who wants to enter and who can come along. Now, today we were talking about desecrating graves for Muslims, and then someone mentioned about asylum seekers, or when we came into the country we wasn't given housing and priority in the way that we were treated and so forth. And it just brought me to a story that I've been reading about with housing at the moment. It's like hot topic, I think, everywhere, is the affordability of housing and renting, and most importantly is council housing. I mean, gone are the days where when we were younger, got pregnant, go to the council, get a flat, sorted, Even men that wanted to get a flat, just go on the council waiting list, and within 1 year you got yourself a council flat. Where it's a near impossibility now. Gonna have to have a whole load of mental illnesses, a lot of disabilities, or indeed be an asylum seeker before you can get any housing. But more detrimental to that is the fact that people that are within the areas that do need housing are being told and being forced to move away hundreds of miles outside of London to be able to be housed. Now, London is saturated in terms of council accommodation or social housing, cheap alternative housing. It's just not there, it's just not available. And so the housing stock is very, very limited. Councils often have thousands of people on their waiting lists, and a near impossibility to be rehoused. Now, there's one young lady and her daughter, their council has been told, it's a West London council, Hillingdon Council, has been told that she needs to move 275 miles to Hartlepool.
Wow.
Or lose housing support. Now, it's a question that, for me, it's really difficult. I just feel like, well, if you need a house, you need a house. Does it matter where you are? You know, does it have to be in London? And there's also the other side where you've got no family. You might lose your family support. You might lose your job. She's got a job in London, so she'll have to lose her job. There's no way that she can commute from Hartlepool straight into London. So what's the alternatives for her going to be? Does she bite the bullet and move to Hartlepool, or do you think that the council has the right to house her in London? And the very fact that Hillingdon Council also has over nearly 4,000 people on its waiting list as it stands for housing. So where do you stand in that list, and how long do you have to subsequently wait for housing if you are that 3,149th person on that list? It's not going to happen for another couple of years. Now, her daughter is autistic and has ADHD, has mental health issues including anxiety, borderline personality disorder. Her daughter's got a raft of illnesses, but still is not at the top of that waiting list to receive housing, and they're looking to move her to Hartlepool. Now, I've looked at councils and some of their waiting lists and see who's got some of the largest waiting lists. And London boroughs, just London, collectively have 336,000 people on waiting lists. This was in 2024 when the last census was done. 336,000 people within the London boroughs are on council waiting lists to be housed. That's phenomenal. There's no way London can accommodate over 300,000 people. And this represents the highest figure in over a decade and a 32% increase since 2014. Now, just to give you some last of these stats, Walsall in the Black Country had the largest waiting list. This is unbelievable, with over 13,700, and Wolverhampton had the smallest with 3,156.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
336,000 on a waiting list in London. That was last year. So it's we need to look forward to what's happening this year or what the stats are. But as of 2023, so I'm bringing you old stats, I don't have up-to-date ones. There were 1.29 million households on local authority waiting lists. That's in total within the UK. 1.2 million people waiting to be housed. We don't have enough housing, clearly.
So, somebody who's on a waiting list, I mean, obviously, like if you're living in London, you've lived in London all your life, to be moved all the way to somewhere where you don't know. I mean, that's a depression in itself, stress, you know, especially if you're working. What if you're working in that area and they're telling you got to move?
But do you think that you have the right to dictate where you should live if there's not enough housing stock? Do you think... Go ahead, sorry.
Dictate, so I don't think that you have the right, but obviously if you're living in an area and you're working in that area, to move you out, I mean, just to, you know, get somewhere, you know, where there's no family, there's no friends, you know, you have to start meeting people. I mean, I don't know.
But the problem is, what do you do if there's no housing? If there is no available housing in the borough, what do you do?
I think
what is the alternative choice?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Now, Susan Simpson said, I would really like to know what these boroughs are spending money on. The wrong things, in my opinion. And G4 says, are councils still selling homes under the right to buy scheme? I think that was suspended. I will find out for you. It's a good question to ask. I don't think it was as prevalent as when Maggie Thatcher came into force and allowed that into the 80s. You know, most of us were able to become homeowners because of that and bought our council housing. And therefore, you know, and some of them are worth like over £1 million now. Councils must be sitting there quaking in their boots at the thought of selling off some of the stock that they had. But yeah, we all know that councils waste money. We also know that councils have been overloaded with facilitating for a lot more people. We've had a lot more migrants, immigrants come into the country that need to be catered for in specific boroughs. That's creating a backlog. The fact that the NHS hasn't been invested into properly, overspending amongst the management, has just seen it plundered all around. Services all around have just not been looked after properly, and it's not been thought out, and we're suffering because of it. And this is where racism comes into place. Because people then start thinking it's the migrants that cause this. If we didn't have so many migrants, we'd have more doctors' places, we'd have more dentists, we'll have more homes. Why are we housing them in hotels at a cost of how much? At a cost of how much money? And I've got a story on that one as well. But we'll come back to that one in a second. Let's just digest this and give a chance for anyone to question. I want to find out about selling under the right to buy scheme as well. But I also want to bring you a story about Home Office begging hotels not to evict migrants. There's a little cash flow problem. There's some hotels that are making a hell of a lot of money. We are also funding migrants staying in hotels at a cost of over £5.5 million a day, by the way. 38,000 migrants that we are housing in hotels because we didn't want them in centres, asylum centres, and it's costing the UK £5.5 million a day. Let's not look at just the local authorities. Look at what the government is costing us. What it's costing us in total. 5.5 million. Is that being racist or not? Right. Well, it's 8:52. We've got all sorts of things going on this morning. We've got the competition running. We're getting the answers coming into WhatsApp. We're looking at that towards the end of the day when we're given a chance for people to still enter the competitions. And of course, we've been talking about naughty songs. Sharky's been playing. Are you playing music there, Sharky DJ?
No, sorry. Apologies.
Okay, into the chat, Miss JR has written a comment there about the poll that we did with the cost for funding the migrants. I put a poll in the WhatsApp group saying, do you agree with cost for funding migrants in the hotels at a cost of the taxpayer of 5.5 million a day? You're welcome to join into the poll. You're welcome to submit some of your responses into the WhatsApp group. You can read them out on Mixcloud. That is no problem. I believe in freedom of speech. But Miss JR said, as a local government worker, I worked in a hotel in 2024 with migrants. They had absolutely no disregard for the hotel, no respect to the workers, and expected everything now and without hesitation. That hotel had to close down after, as the costs were too much to repair, soiled rooms, everything broken. Just rude. And that's the problem, I think, when you come from war-torn countries and you know some of them might not be used to, I don't know, hotel rooms or toilets and things like that, and don't have don't have any regard for anything that's given to them. I don't know. If you've grown up in a war-torn country, why would you? Are you supposed to be more grateful, or that thought process that they will be? Or is it some kind of training that we have to do for people? I remember when I used to look after students, and I used to have a young girl from Argentina come and stay with me, and they don't put anything in the toilets. They don't flush toilet tissue or feces or anything like that down the toilets, and she was putting it all in my bin, not understanding that it could be flushed down the toilet. So sometimes it could be a cultural thing that people have to get used to. But yes, it's a difficult one. It's a lot of money to be spending per day. We're not talking about per month or per week. We're talking about 5.5 million a day, and we're going through austerity.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and you can see why people are getting upset.
Yeah.
Migrants just coming over here, claiming asylum. Some of them are absolutely in trouble and need help, but a lot of them don't. And it's hard to fish out which ones do, which ones don't. The asylum process in the UK is a hot mess. It's quicker to get someone out through Windrush than it is asylum seekers, I reckon. I feel like they get stays of execution. But anybody to do with Windrush, they're coming out, gone, shipped off. And someone sent me a story today that I'll see if I can fit in before the end of the show about a Windrush victim. I'm tired of hearing about Windrush, to be quite honest with you, because some of the stories are quite harrowing. And yet we're seeing asylum seekers get put up in hotels, get all expenses paid for, coats, clothes, shoes, toys, accommodation, heating.
Everything.
And I'm out here struggling, man. Life is rough. Life is rough. But anyway, don't forget to join the poll. Let me see what you think. Put your comments in also. I've been multitasking here. I got locked out of an account and I was quickly trying to get myself back in before the show came back on. But I would like to say so far that no one's correct in the competition yet. Is it T Smooth or Lee Smooth that is in the chat? No. I could say there's no. All I'm going to say is there's no correct answers yet.
Okay.
Lee Smooth it was, yes. So yeah, no correct answers as yet. So there's still time to win these passes. So no delight, you're not getting one of those yet. You're gonna have to tag team up with somebody else. Tag team up with somebody else. You know what I mean? And find the answers. You know.
Yes.
Maybe go on the Carry On Comedy website and see when they first started advertising. You could do that.
Go. So yeah, there's a competition going out to win 2 free wristbands. Okay, and all we need to know is what, HPQ?
So what year was the first Carry On Comedy held, and where? What country?
There you go.
There you go.
Did you want to say something?
I was going to, but it's all right.
Sorry, I thought that you was giving me the little break to bust a tune, you know what I mean? I'll tell you what, you talk, we'll play this one after.
I thought we'd just come back from the ad breaks. I've just spoken for about a second. You don't want me on screen no more?
Just getting excited about playing music. Go through it, HPQ.
No, I just wanted to read out in the chat what Lee Smooth had put down in terms of the poll that I put in about migrants. Now, he says, I pay enough tax, as we all do. They have come here illegally, so should expect nothing. Yeah, feed them. I'm human. But until you are processed, you don't have any rights. But the government needs to speed up the process and have offices abroad so they can make applications. The government make it hard to impossible to make a claim offshore. That's the issue. They have basically queue jumped. Not on. It's not on. So, and I saw some comments about, I don't know if it was DJ Colonel that put that in there, that remember the times when we came in. But we weren't treated like the migrants.
Cookie.
Sorry, Cookie. Hello, good morning, my darling. But I think what we got to remember is that the key difference is that we weren't put up in nice hotels and given lots of money.
Yeah.
We weren't treated that way at all. We were given the most shabbiest places to stay and treated like the bottom of the pile. They weren't spending 5.5 million or the equivalent back in those days on us. So, and I don't know if where our parents or our parents' parents handed out money just like that. Could they just come and claim welfare? Did they claim welfare or did they have to work? That would be a good question.
Work. I don't think they could just claim welfare. I think they came and they worked. Because there was a lot of jobs back in the days that, remember, there were jobs that people didn't want to do. So when the families came over, they literally were asked to come over to do the jobs, do the things that other people did not want to do.
Well, it wasn't that people didn't want to do. Most of the people that had gone into the World War, most of the men had died, so they had no men in the country to do certain things, and there was plenty jobs because we just didn't have the staff. A lot of people had gone to war, so that was the idea of bringing them over to fill in some of these jobs that were vacant, and yes, some of the jobs that other people didn't want to do. A bit like what some of the migrants come over, but they were good jobs, as you know. Got good pensions.
Yes, like London Transport back in the day. Remember Transport? You came over and you earned, I think they were the first wages I was told was like £7 a week.
Which was a lot in them days because houses only cost like a couple of £100. So,
They were like
It's relative.
My uncle's house now. I mean, they said he paid like £1,500 or £2,000 for it, worth like now £1.5 million.
I know. Our parents, if they, got those jobs and stayed in there for the time that they did, they come away with their pensions. All of them are in Jamaica back there now, just chilling out.
Oh,
saying,
yes.
yeah,
Chilling
we
back
work
in their
hard.
big houses in Jamaica. Yep.
Yeah, but they laid the line for us, for the children to come down. But I just don't think the times are the same. I don't think I can compare with us coming in with the migrants, how they're coming in now. And we certainly didn't arrive on boats and claim asylum as soon as we stepped onto the land.
Nah.
We came here to work.
Yeah.
And we wanted to work. We didn't want to claim benefits and seek just an easy life. The streets weren't paved with gold. They were paved with snow when some of these people landed, I'm telling you. So,
in all fairness, I think even with a lot of the migrants now, if they could get work, a lot of people would work, in all fairness. It's the youngsters that don't want to work. They want to be influencers and TikTok and Instagram, making money that way.
Gen Z are completely different wavelength to us baby boomers. I'm telling you, they are. They know that they're like the youth of today when they get arrested. They know all their rights at work. They know exactly what they can and can't do. They know exactly what they want to and don't want to do. And they just they live fearlessly. Not more fearless.
Yeah.
We were just we had a job, we kept on to it, and we went through rubbish. We went through racism and misogyny and all sorts of things because we thought we should hold on to a job and don't speak back and be like, yes, massa. But our kids are like, no way, I'm not taking that from anybody.
Absolutely.
Not from a teacher, not from a parent, nobody. They're not having any of it. None of it.
Yeah. There's a couple of comments in the chat. Do you want to read them out?
Good morning. And good morning to you, Audrey D, who's just joined on HPQ's Mixcloud. The time is 9:16. We are well into the Breakfast Flight Show, having some very interesting conversations this morning, one of which we're having on migrants at the moment. And I'm going to read out some of these comments. But DJ Cookie, I can see where we are getting some interesting comments here. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm merely here to just bring the news. Now, obviously, I'm not on side or offside of anything. I merely just want to find out how people are feeling about any one particular situation. Everyone can give opinions. Nobody says who's right or wrong, but people do have feelings, and some people have been affected by certain things. All I'm saying to you is that I don't feel like even though we came into the country and brought this country this wealth, definitely, but I don't think we were treated the same way that how migrants have been treated, the way that they're coming into the country at the moment. Now, I understand that when they first came in, they were put into asylum centres, which were absolutely horrific. And we campaigned to put them in hotels. Great, that's fine. But it's a complete cost. And it's like the country's in turmoil at the moment. What gives? We've got families that are being decentralised and moved to other halves of the country. We've got migrants coming in. We've got people saying they should go. We're saying people that they should stay. We're always going to get divisive opinions. Absolutely. Yeah. But nobody's saying anybody's right or wrong. We're merely here to state opinions. I just want to say that just for the record. Now, we read this comment out already, which Cookie said it's interesting how we can be so up in arms about immigration where our parents were in the same position 60 years plus ago. Have we forgotten? We've commented upon that. DJ Rudy says national strike is next month, 24th. I don't know which national strike that is. And G4 says you can take migrants in, but don't give them more than us. Give them a permit to work. That's another opinion coming in. DJ Cookie says, are we forgetting what this country or how this country got its wealth? We are clearly not on any kind of level to be throwing stones. Is this what we have become? And DJ Rudy says, but if they do not go on about immigration, they will go on about something else. It's more an EDL thing, so I'm not interested. Yeah, we got all sorts
some great comments there,
in.
and I'll tell you what, I've always said the same thing like Cookie. I can see where he's going with that, because we we're okay in this country, okay, and the problem is that this country, as we know, was an S-hole before people came here and built it up, and also what they done to other people many years ago to make this country, as they call it, Great Britain. So maybe it's as what the chicken coming home to roost, saying, well, you took what from us many years ago, we can't, build our country. You've taken our wealth, so we're now coming back to take some of that back. So I'm in agreement with Cookie on that one there. You know, we have to think about that as well, because that comes into it too. So, yes, we can talk about the migrants, and I'm with G-Force, yeah? If they want to come in, but don't give them more than what we have done. The people that are here right now, doing what we're doing, paying our taxes, you know, if we are not able to work, or we should be given housing. If you want to send the migrants 274 miles up in wherever, instead of, you know, and I'm with that. I'm with it. So it's, yeah. It's like that. It's one of those kind of subjects where, you know, yeah, I can understand it.
It's one of those kind of subjects whereby people either stand on the fence or stand on one side or the other until something happens, and then you want to blame a particular culture or something. When you can't get to the doctors, when your doctors is telling you it's a 3-week waiting list, whose fault is it? You can't get a dentist or something like that. It's easy to blame somebody else other than what's going on within the country. But again, you're right, it could be things going back round and coming back on us. But is that how the world works? Is that how it should be? A case of retribution all the time? You did this, so we do this. You did this, so we did this. I mean, that's how Trump's playing it at the moment. If we're going to talk about something else, let's push migrants to one side for 1 second. It's a very emotive subject. Tariff war. Let's talk about Trump and his tariff war. He's put a pause in it at the moment, but he's slapped China with a 125% tariff charge. China's coming back and saying, okay, you use some earth minerals, as they call it, and these earth minerals are used to what car components, computer components. 90% of it comes from China.
Yep.
So China has slapped some
where
tariff.
they're going with that.
Yep. They've decided to ban it. They're not sending any at the moment. So I don't know what America's going to do with that. So Trump, he can go on his lordy land and say, I'm doing this and I'm slapping tariffs everywhere, and quite rightly so, to be quite honest with you. If you want to make a country great again, you don't make it full of just imports. Okay, your GDP is not going up any higher with just just importing goods all the time, and they want to export more than what's being imported in. They want to make more money than giving countries other money. Understand that completely, but these tariffs is slapping on. I don't know if they're wholly and solely fair. I don't know if they've been well thought out, but he is the president. I'm not. Well, apparently, I mean, I was reading this morning that he said that the United Kingdom are going to be exempt from these tariffs. No, they're not. They've got a charge. They've got like a 20%. They've got a minimal 20%, charge, except from the 125%. I mean, yeah. So there's it's going to be different for United Kingdom for everyone else. So no. Well, to be fair, right? China has the 125%. That's not with all countries. He's setting tariff with individual countries depending on what goods they are importing or exporting. China's obviously the highest because of the amount of goods that come into the US. So Trump wants to make money. Britain, I think, is only 15 or 20%. You know, Keir Starmer was cheering and doing ring and roses when he heard that America didn't slap them with too much of a charge going on. But it's different it's different according to which country and what they're importing, exporting. Okay, well, maybe I got that wrong because well, I was trying to find what I was reading, but okay. Spice Nice says 10% for England. Let's have a look. Let's come back to that. Let's find out what the Trump tariffs are. We're speculating here. You're the new. Well, I was actually, is what I read, but maybe I read it wrong somewhere. So. Yes, and Maxine Green, you said the operative word there, that being we were invited. You are absolutely correct there, and we didn't pillage the system of everything. We worked hard for a living, yes, indeed, paid taxes into the country, and therefore could retire properly afterwards. Verona Green says, I'm not sure this country can take any more people from abroad. I work in a college. Many of the refugees and asylums all live in hotels. Who is paying for that? It's the 5.5 million we're paying per day, Verona. Most of the minerals used to make the car batteries China gets from third world countries. Strip the land. Gosh. This has caused a divide, and everybody, like I said, has got opinions. Now, this Trump tariff thing, I've been looking at it. If you read from one news for another, it does actually change, and it looks like China's got 145% tariff charge. The rest of the world has a 10% baseline tariff, and then there's custom tariffs for the worst offenders. And I don't know if European Union has 20%, Vietnam has 46%, Thailand's 36%, Japan's 24%, Cambodia's 49%, South Africa's 30%, Taiwan's 32%, the UK's definitely 10%, along with the rest of the world, and then you've got China with 145%, the largest, most
145 now.
145%.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this trade war. I can't see it's going to benefit us in any way whatsoever. And obviously, if they're importing things from China, for example, to make cars, how much are now cars going to rise by? I mean, cars are ridiculous amounts of money anyway. Even 30,000 for a car for me just seems like driving. Some people are driving around in a house. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And the cost of a house, people are actually driving around in. So I don't know what the implications of this is. This is when big boys with big
toys,
big toys like to play and play havoc with the country. You know, sometimes I need to put them to rest, put some ice on them, let them cool down, and then make better decisions because of that. Now, talking about decision making, yesterday we had a whole poll on the Birmingham bin strike and whether you thought that they should be striking or not, whether you were onside, offside. The majority of you thought that you were onside with them. They went to the table yesterday for talks to see if they could put this to a close, and the offers on the table were wholly and solely rejected. Now, what the council came up with, they said they were going to give a £16,000 payment, which sounded good, to the longest serving members, not to everybody, just 16,000. That's equivalent of the 2 years of 88k pay cuts, and that's it.
So they're still trying it.
They're still trying it, and then 60% of them voted nope. They're still striking. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It really isn't good enough.
Do you think the council will cave in?
Will they be forced to, unless they put army on the streets, unless they bring it? It's not feasible for them to use other methods to counteract what they're doing at the moment. At some point, they're going to have to give in.
Because another week or 2 weeks of this is going to be, it's going to turn into a disaster.
It is.
It's going to turn into an area disaster. Definitely will turn into a disaster because, people are constantly using rubbish, constantly discarding rubbish, foods, especially foods, diseases and stuff like that.
The other problem is that some of these people could go and work for other borough and councils working on waste, so they could lose people that way anyway.
Yeah.
You're going to get a certain percentage that will go back because they can't not afford to work, and that will accept an 8k pay cut. But it's having a knock-on effect for the residents. It's not fair for the people that actually pay their council tax. The rubbish should be cleared, and the council should find other ways of clearing it and not just rely on the facilities that they've got, especially when people have paid for them. If the council hasn't paid for them, that's just another thing.
And I bet you any money, these councillors that are making these decisions, none of them live in that area at all.
Nah.
Not one. Yeah. Because they would do something about it if they were. So, I don't know.
Yes, and let's have a look. Cookie, I'm so glad you're in today. You're providing some interesting perspectives here, so thank you for your comments. And he says the thing is that with that invitation, I wish my parents read the small print. We all wish they read the small print, right? The things that we would do. If we knew what we knew now, we'd all come in and we would be living in Notting Hill, buy up all those houses, right, and wait for them to turn into that price.
Oh yes, we'd have that.
That's what we would have done. And Lewisham, all these. Do you imagine the places that they dispersed us to are worth the most money now? Hackney, Lewisham, Notting Hill, the worst degraded areas, Brixton, that we used to populate, now are worth all the money. Get rid of us all. Gentrify it.
Push us out the area, Islington,
Very
around
smart.
those areas,
yeah.
and, around Dalston, Hackney. It's just worth so much money now.
Dalston
from Stowe's come up, it's just like, gosh.
I can't believe.
Place, I reckon's Dagenham.
Listen, I couldn't believe it when Brixton changed, and then Dalston, Hackney. I was just like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Yep. So
anyway, Verona Green says that Spice Nice says, I think the council will give in. They ain't got no money. The council will give in, or the government will give in. The government might say, here's a little back section of money to pay for these people. That's what the government should be doing. Government should step in. The government is stepping in to save the steelworks. Imagine they sold these steelworks to a Japanese company. The company are now saying we're going to close this whole steelworks down 2 years after they bought the company. And the government is stepping in to save the day. How does that work? And the government won't step in to save the bin men. Imagine that. Can someone please make sense of this all? Now, Verona says they need to hurry up. The rubbish is overflowing. It's getting me down seeing all that rubbish. People don't realise the impact of this. I can imagine. I cannot stand to see rubbish anywhere, or fly tipping or anything like that. By the way, I agree they need to strike, but think about the residents who are paying council tax. First Lady says, I hear they're bringing in the army to clear the rubbish. Apparently so. Bring them in, yes. Well, bring them in. Yeah. We pay for them, so let them do something. Verona Green says, my cousin lives in Blackheath. Yep, that was another area as well. Really nice, those basement flats now worth $500,000 now. I suspect they're probably more than that. And Verona Green says at Spice Nice the council is broke. Broke. They are so broke, they are broke.
I'll tell you what. Why don't they take some of the money from the fines and the car fines and pay the people? Because they make enough money from fines and stuff like that, you know?
And by the way, Kimmy Kim says, my grandma came to teach nurses how to nurse, and she was a matron. That's what I mean. We came in here to do jobs, specific jobs, not leech off the system. The only way we didn't leech off the system. A couple man went in the betting shop, you know what I mean? That was a betting shop thing. That weren't leeching, trying to make a little side. That was the side hustle back then, was horse racing, dominoes and Ludo. That's it. Oh, lots have been going on in the chat. It's been very, very, very busy today. It has been, definitely. Now, DJ Rudy said they're people that's never worked in their lifetime and they like to flee off the system. Get them out to work, he says. Aisha B says, in them, the migrant, and us, the UK, were still not classed as part of the US, or part of us, or part of the US, or part of the US. I'm not quite sure what that's pertaining to. Maybe I missed a trick there. But coming back to Trump, all right, and the fact that he upped China's tariff. Now, his justification for keeping these tariffs high was that every product needs to be made in the USA in case the country needs to go to war. I swear this man's inciting war. I've never heard anything like this. We're going to have drugs made in the US states, or the United States, so that in case of war, in case of whatever, this is Trump's words, we're not relying on China and other various countries, which is not a good idea. This is what Trump told reporters on Air Force One on Sunday. I do like that plane name, Air Force One. And he left the possibility of more tariffs to come, as well as to the president in Vietnam during his Southeast Asia tour. He says there's no winners in a trade war or a tariff war. I think the Vietnam president has said our two countries should resolutely safeguard the multilateral trading system, stabilize global industry and supply chains, and open and cooperative international environment. Trade war and tariff war will produce no winner, and protectionism will lead nowhere. Now, I don't like the fact that Trump is even inciting war. We want these tariffs, or we want these things made in the US in case we need to go to war. Now, as you know, right, China has been instrumental in getting all over Africa, all over the Caribbean, and they got their hands on all the ports. So let's see if they want to incite war, what's going to happen? Because China's going to say, okay, you owe this, that. We're taking over your ports. Thank you very much. We're taking all your ships, all your people, and we're going to war with Trump. There you go. Done. Great, Trump. Great thinking, Batman. No, he's not. Trump is inciting all sorts. And as I said to you, I'm on side in one sense, in that you should not be importing more goods than what you're exporting. Firm believer in that. Right? Country needs to make money. That makes sense. But this high tariff, and it's a massive jump. It's not even just a little jump. It's not even like 10%, 20%, 50%. It's like 145%. Now, if you want stuff made in the US, then you have to cater for the US. Things are expensive when you're manufacturing in your own country. And that's why a lot of people are going to China and Japan. They've catered themselves that way with these massive factories. But, you know, going on and talking about the environment is a whole new bubble. We'll talk about that perhaps next time. For now, it's 9:43. Got 15 minutes to go. Sharky DJ, leaving you up to the helm there.
Okay. Very interesting comments indeed from everyone, and thank you guys for your input. It's been a very interesting morning. Definitely has been, hasn't it?
It has indeed. And thank you very much for everybody that's taken part in the polls and coming out and putting their comments in. Everybody's comment is relevant. Everybody's comment matters. Don't forget, it's just an opinion.